All right, let's get into it. Since I got other things, there's other things I want to do today, but I am not being allowed to do it until I say this. So, my next video was gonna be on something totally different, and then this morning, I was told to talk about this, so that's what we're gonna talk about. So, this is about, okay, so there's wars, right? In the physical, but also in the spiritual. And we all know this. We everybody has at least heard of that, the war between God and Lucifer. But there's also things that are done spiritual. We call them spirit, or we hear them as spiritual attacks. Spiritual attack, spiritual war. Let's just, keep it together. So this particular one is male versus female. And it's a lot of videos where men are talking about women and women ain't shit. And there's a lot of videos with women saying the same about men. And this whole alpha male bullshit. So let's talk about it. So, there was a betrayal. How do we do this? Okay, let's talk about the principles real quick. So you have the masculine principle, you have the feminine principle. And I think I touched on this in the last video. The gender that you came in as is the principle, is the physical manifestation of a principle, right? So I am a physical representation, a physical manifestation of the feminine principle. So that means that it is easier for me, it should be easier for me to connect with the divine, because the divine lives in the spiritual. It lives in the intuition. It lives in the subconscious, which is a feminine principle, right? Whereas if a masculine principle should be able to easily connect with things of action, of reason, of power in this physical realm, as this physical realm is easier to do things in the masculine principle. It's easier to just do things in the masculine principle, because this realm is more tangible, it's more dense, right? So, and I've heard spiritual teachers contradict themselves, and I don't even think, but I know that they don't even hear it, because I've heard several of them say, well, God speaks to the husband, and then it goes into the wife, and this and that and the third, right? But then in the same teaching, or separate video, but the same teacher understands that the spiritual realm is a feminine principle. So why would a feminine principle go through a masculine principle to deliver the message to his physical feminine principle? You understand what I'm saying? Why would the feminine principle not go directly to its physical manifestation to give the message? Why would it filter itself through the masculine? And this is where the attack is, and how it started with patriarchy and misogyny. Okay, the making women less than, because women further back were considered more important than we are now. So this is not a bashing video. This is not a video making anyone less than. This is what the fuck it is, okay? So let's go into 10%. So they say we still use 10% of our brain, and we know that's not true, right? What they're saying is, of all the power that the brain has, in order to live out this life, you only really need to use 10% of it. We're not using and everything to its full potential. Then that is represented in the physical world as in, they say, there's more matter that we don't see, antimatter, dark matter, whatever they're calling it, than physical matter, right? That's your physical and your spiritual. So, now we just broke that down into feminine and masculine principles. So that's saying that the feminine principle is 90%, the masculine principle is 10%. We live in this 10%, so we see it as a whole, but it is not. It's the 90% is not being shown. So I will go. There's a story that goes along with that, but we'll deal with that later. This is really just about trying to understand how this war, because this is a war now. This is an attack now. Like, we as people, we need to really get this shit together and stop trying to overpower each other and understand our role and what we're supposed to be doing and how to harmonize together. Not blend, but harmonize, right? Okay, where was I? Feminine principle, masculine principle. So how it works well is that they tell you it's God, husband, wife, kids, as far as how the information trickles down, right? And in the movies, they show you that most of the time they'll show the spiritual advisor as a male. But if you go back into eras like where the movie 300, where the movie 300 was supposed to take place, and they had oracles, and those oracles were feminine. Why? Because the oracle is the physical manifestation of the feminine principle, which is intuition, which is the spirit realm. Okay? So, excuse me, which is the spirit realm. And so how it goes is God, wife, husband. Okay? Now, the reason why men are of this age now has such a hard time with that is because of the patriarchy that they have been under. Okay? That tells them everything starts and ends with you. This does not make you less than. And that goes into the story of how this started, the betrayal that happened. But let's just keep it on. This is an ego thing. Okay? But it shouldn't be, because we're supposed to be getting past the ego, controlling the ego, and understand and living in the spiritual, living in the love. Okay, so your wife is your spiritual advisor. So she connects with the divine, and the divine gives her the messages. Y'all should be doing this. Y'all should be doing that. This is going to happen for y'all if you do this, if you do that. She gives that to the husband, and as the authoritative figure of the family, he goes out and makes that happen for his kingdom. Okay? She is his spiritual advisor. That does not mean he doesn't have his own connection with spirit. But if she's in her feminine power and he is in his masculine power and they divine powers, because again, remember, even as a feminine, you have masculine energy within you too, and you're supposed to harmonize the two. But because you are the physical representation of a principle, it is easier for you to connect with that principle that you're representing. So if you're in a relationship, why not defer to the expert in that particular area, right? So it's a thing of she gets the information and then he does what the information tells him to do and brings it back while she does the nurturing and the thing of that whole thing, right? Now, this is what patriarchy has done. Patriarchy has created a system of control. Women need to be controlled. And then, because it created this system of control, women have become more masculine in their energy to survive. Because survival is a masculine energy that you need to be in. You cannot be a damsel in distress if you don't have anybody there to rescue you. You understand what I'm saying? If you're constantly in survival mode, you need to be in a masculine energy. You got shit to do. Okay? You need to be in action. You need to be in motion. Okay? And we see now that there is a lot of masculine, a lot of males who are very feminine in their energy right now. And a lot of these so-called alpha males, when you hear them talk, them niggas are emotional as fuck. Sorry to tell you that, sweetie, but you're emotional as fuck. Oh, it's like, well, calm down. Use your inside voice. Why do you need to feel the need to control someone? Why aren't you looking for a partnership? Why is it always a thing of submission? And I'm not against submission. If that's your shit, that's your shit. That's not my shit. But if that's your shit, that's your shit. Okay? But why is it so important to you? Why aren't you looking for someone who harmonizes with you? Because when you hear a lot of them talk, it's always about control. It's all about, I'm supposed to do this and you're supposed to follow me because I am the man. But y'all both grown. And doing dishes and cleaning floors and having babies. Yes, a woman's body is set up to have babies. But at the same time, unless she's not working, because let's be clear, a lot of these men want women who work, but then want these same women who working, who help bring home the check to also cook, clean. So their only job is to work while she gets double duty for all the other shit that's supposed to be woman's work. Fuck that shit. But if that's what y'all want to do, that's what y'all do. But I'm just saying, you can't have a woman in her feminine energy and expect her to help you carry the load in the masculine energy. But anyways, I digress. The problem is the control, and it has warped men and it has warped women. And so now we are at a point where everyone is trying to hate everything, and we're at odds with each other when we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is harmonizing with each other and living in the principle in which we are representing. Okay? Your wife is your spiritual advisor. And for her to get, and if you're in a relationship and you feel as if your partner is a lot in her masculine energy, you need to look at yourself and see why she's in that energy. Because there's reasons why. Like, maybe she came from a family where there was not a lot of men. Like, the older you get, and if you had to be on your own for a long time, it's going to be hard. It's a habit, right? To break, to get out of that energy. But it is possible when the person that you're with helps you and shows you that they have it. I can't let down my masculine energy if you don't know how to pay the fucking bills without me telling you. If I have to constantly remind you of your responsibilities, okay, then how can I ever really let that energy go to the background? Okay, because again, at the end of the day, we still need to survive. So in order for a feminine energy to become dominant, the masculine energy needs to be taken care of. The survival part needs to be taken care of. And then you will see the change in the femininity of the person that you're with when they don't have to be that masculine energy anymore. Understand? All right. And so now a lot of people want to talk about how the Bible said this and the Bible said that. And this is going to be a harsh truth for you all, but that shit has been remixed, my nigga. That shit is P. Diddy, my dog. Like, that shit tells you on the cover, it's not the whole truth. It's a version. It's curated. So it was done for a reason. It was done for spiritual power, but it was also done for physical power. Okay? They showed you that in the book of Eli. When the guy wanted the Bible, because he knew that if he had the Bible, he could use that to control people. You think just because something is the word of God, it was given in the hands of man, and people are corrupt. That book was usurped and used to push an agenda. So I'm not saying that it's not the work of God. I'm saying that it has been tampered with. And you all know that. That's why some things make sense and then some things don't, because they changed shit. But they didn't really understand what the fuck they was reading in the first place for the most part. They mistranslated words. They inserted words. They continue to change it to this day. They continue to change it to this day. Y'all need to understand this and get yourself a personal relationship with the divine. This is not saying don't read the Bible. I'm going to go through that myself. It's going to take a while, but there is a Bible study series that's going to be coming way down the line, because I have to go through it, and it's a whole ordeal. It was something I was supposed to do years ago, and I've been pushing it off because it's a daunting task. But I don't think the divine will let me rest until I actually do it. So it will get done at some point. But the point is that it's not the word of God, is that it was tampered with to create this confusion. Because when you can create confusion in people, you can control people. When you can keep people in a state of survival mode, you can control people. You can use people. You can do things to people because they're not looking for it. And even if they are looking for it, they're too tired to think about it because they just constantly survive. Okay? Understand this. Quit falling for the bullshit. This is not male versus female. This is wanting to control someone and expecting other people to want to be controlled. There's people like that. Find you one if that's what y'all want. But at the end of the day, if you want a healthy relationship, understand that it is a partnership. It is a harmony that you're trying to create with each other. I'm good at this, so when I do this, you should listen. You're good at that, so when you do that, I should listen. That is a partnership. That is a harmony. That is a connection. Why are people not looking for that? Instead of this blind submission bullshit. Instead of this blind, I'm an alpha male. Like, first of all, why are you comparing yourself to animal kingdom shit? I thought you were human. I thought you had rationale. I thought you had a conscience that God gave you. But every other, when it's convenient, you like to compare yourselves to the fucking animal kingdom. Like, the fuck is wrong? What's really good? Let's get off that and get more into the spiritual. Learn your principles. Learn what you want. If that's what you want and that's how you feel, then by all means, this message is not for you. Keep doing you. This is supposed to hit whoever it needed to hit. This is supposed to inspire whoever it is that's supposed to hear it. And if it didn't hit with you, then it wasn't for you. Keep it moving. But for those who it was for, let me just again say that merge your principles. Okay, first of all, whatever gender you are, you're supposed to harmonize that other part within yourself first, because it's always a thing of know thyself. Then when you're in a relationship, it's harmony between the two of you. Okay? That is how it works best. And be okay to be alone until you find the one the one that works with you. Because again, another issue is that we become jaded because we're in and out of these relationships that don't work, that we knew wasn't going to fucking work. But we try to make it work because we don't want to be alone. Okay? Be willing to walk away. Be like, this shit ain't working. I don't want to waste my time. You don't want to waste your time. Let's keep that shit pushing. Okay? A lot of people want to shame people. Oh, well, she's not married. She doesn't have kids. Okay, but is she happy? Because that's hard to do in this physical world. And especially in the time, well, really in any time, because shit always really been bad. But if you can find happiness, then, oh well. Being married is not the be-all, end-all. Having kids is not the be-all, end-all for some people. Some people don't want that shit, and that's fine as well. Okay, so what I'm really talking about is the masculine and feminine principle. What happened, why the patriarchy has been ruling, because patriarchy is really a system of control. Because it has a hierarchy. Right? And I'm not going to go deeper in the hierarchy until I do the video about how this came about. This is really just a snapshot of telling people, work within your principle, learn to be more into your principle, learn what those energies are, and use them to your advantage. If you're single, use it to your advantage. Be feminine. And it took me a while for this, because I was deep in my masculine energy because I had to be. So much so I neglected my feminine, and it caused issues with me physically. Okay, but the advice is to, if you're feminine, be in your feminine energy when you're alone. When you feel safe to be in that energy. And it's okay to be in your masculine energy, because that's how you get shit done. Masculine energy is action. Okay? If you're male, then obviously be in your masculine energy. When you're alone and you need to be in the feminine energy, and that don't mean you got to cry and all that. It means be emotionally intelligent. I feel this way. And be okay with feeling that way. Don't stay in it, and that's for each gender. Don't sit and wallow in it, but feel your feelings. That's fine. Acknowledge it to those who you feel safe doing so. You can't be doing that with certain people because they see it as weak and they'll try to take advantage. We all know what's up. But for those people who, you know, you can let that guard down and watch the burdens and the anger start to release from your body when you're stepping into the power and the representation you're supposed to be. I'm gonna also touch on this real quick when it comes to for women and how they demonize your period. Understand that blood is spiritual. They show you all the time that it's spiritual. And so women that was time for yourself. You are at your most powerful spiritually on your cycle. And so a lot of women did not have sex on their cycles. Okay, because it was powerful. It was you didn't want to take in anybody's negative energy. This was time for you to get shit done spiritually. And so they demonized that and made it, that you're dirty and you this and you that, so you would resent that time of the month, so that you wouldn't tap into that power. But understand that's what that was about. Okay, ladies, stop demonizing yourself. Stop hating that is so many ways that they've used things to hold people back, and not just, I mean in general, the masses, to hold people back. When you start going into learning what things that were put into place back in the day, when you start learning the etymology of words and what words really mean and what you think they mean versus what they really mean, you will understand that this is a system of confusion. This is a system of getting you to do things that you don't know that you're doing. Okay, and that's a video that I was going to do before I was told I needed to do this first. So that is coming. We're not going to go into the etymology of words because there's a lot of motherfucking words, and I'm not Webster's dictionary. I'm not going to break down a whole bunch of fucking words. You can do that yourself. But we're going to get into agreements and free will and shit like that. We're going to break down some movies and to show you and why we're going to break down the movies, and we're going to talk about why we're going to break down the movies, all of that. But I just wanted to get this one out of the way. We need to really start healing our relationships with each other. That's the overall message of this video. Let's start healing the relationship with each other and stop looking to put blame and focus on ourselves, right? Because at the end of the day, for all these people who want to men at this and women at that, your partner is a representation of yourself, because you're the one who brought them into your life. And you wouldn't have brought that person into your life if you weren't on that same frequency in some way. Period. And I'm going to leave it at that. So y'all be blessed.